Good afternoon, 5th grade mathematicians. Today is Monday, November 30th, and the purpose of this video is to help guide your work for pages 57 and 58 in your iReady practice and problem solving book. This assignment is loaded into your seesaw. The I can statements that go with this assignment are: I can add decimals to the hundredths using place value, and I can explain the strategy I used with a written method. So if you look at page 57 at the top, the instructions say, study the example problem showing decimal addition using a place value chart, then solve problems 1 through 5. So the example reads, Elena walks 3 4/45 miles before lunch and 5 1/18 miles after lunch. So how many miles does she walk in all? So they set up a place value chart with a ones place, a tenths place, and a hundredths place. And they put Elena's first measurement in the boxes first. So the 3 went in the ones place, the 4 in the tenths, and the 5 in the hundredths. And then after her after lunch mileage was placed in the place value box below that first number. So the 5 went in the ones, the 1 went in the tenths, and the 8 went in the hundredths. So then you're adding based off of place value. So 3 ones plus 5 ones equals 8 ones. 4 tenths plus 1 tenth would equal 5 tenths, and 5 hundredths plus 8 hundredths equals 13 hundredths. So the sum would be 8 ones plus 5 tenths plus 13 hundredths, right down here at the bottom. But the thing of it is, since you have 13 hundredths, you would have to regroup. And place 10 hundredths into the tenths place, which adds 1 tenth to the tenths place. So that's why your final sum is 8 ones plus 6 tenths, because 1 tenth was added to the tenths place for that 10 hundredths that we regrouped over to the tenths place, plus 3 hundredths. So the total, or the sum, of 3 4/45 and 5 1/18 is 8 63 of a mile. So Elena walks 8 63 of a mile in all. So let's look at question 1. So it says, look at the example problem. Suppose Elena walks 6 6/10 of a mile the next day. So complete the steps below to find the number of miles she walks in 2 days. So since you have a 6 in the ones place, that 6 would go in the first box for the ones place. And you have a 6 in the tenths place, that 6 would go in the box underneath the tenths place. Now for the hundredths place, you would add a 0 to that box. So then you're adding 8 ones plus 6 ones, which would equal 14 ones. 6 tenths plus 6 tenths is 12 tenths. Plus 3 plus the 0 would be 3 hundredths. So then you're going to break that 14 ones down after the equal sign. So you would have 14 ones plus, well, since you had 12 tenths, you have to regroup. So technically now you have to figure out how many ones you have now after you regroup that 12 tenths. Okay, after you regroup that 12 tenths. So you actually have more ones now. So remember what I said about up top with the 13 hundredths and how we regrouped. We took 10 of them away and added 1 tenth to the 10th spot. And then just continue to fill in the blanks. So then you would get the final sum of how many miles Elena would walk in 2 days after you add 8 63 with 6 6/10. So let's move on to question number 2. For question number 2, it says you can also add decimals by writing the problem vertically, lining up the decimal points to keep track of place values. The problem to the right is partially completed. So explain why there is a 1 above the tenths place. Well, you know, what is the sum of 2 and 9? And what happens when you add the sum of 2 and 9? Do you or do you not regroup? That is what you need to explain for question number 2. So go ahead and pause the video and explain using words what happens when you add 2 plus 9. How come you have a 1 that has been regrouped to the 10th place on top of the 5? Pause the video and respond. Okay, so let's move on to question number 3. Question 3 reads, find the sum for the addition problem in problem 2. Tell whether each statement about it is true or false. So now you have to go back to problem number 2 and add 14 and 52 hundredths with 22 and 29 hundredths. And then respond to all of the questions. Is that sum more than 36? True or false? Is that sum closer to 37 than 36? True or false? Is the sum 36 and 71 hundredths? True or false? Is that sum 36 and 81 hundredths? True or false? So think about for question B, what actually happens when we round that sum to the nearest whole number, okay? And go ahead and pause the video and respond to question 3. Now, question 4. This reads as, the size for soccer ball Sean's team uses should weigh no more than 3,700 kilogram and no less than 3,100 kilogram. A soccer ball has 2 balls, a soccer bag has 2 balls in it. What is the most they could weigh together? And then what is the least? So if I take 3,700 and add it together twice, that should give me what is the most they could weigh together. If I take 3,100 and add that number together twice, like using repeated addition, that would answer the second part of my question. What is the least that soccer ball or those soccer balls could weigh together? Please remember here to use your tools, your pencil tool, and show your work. Go ahead and pause the video and respond to question 4. So question 5 says, look at problem 4. Will 3 soccer balls weigh more than 1 kilogram? And explain. So then you would take 3,700 and add it together 3 times. Add it together 3 times. And then see if that number rounds up to more than 1 kilogram or not, and then explain. So go ahead and pause the video right here and respond to question number 5. Okay, boys and girls, do not forget that our I can statements for this lesson, for this assignment was, I can add decimals to the hundredths using place value, and I can explain the strategy I used with a written method. If you have any questions, please send Ms. Fowler a note in the chat. This assignment is due today by midnight tonight. So please make sure that you complete this work and submit it in Seesaw. And again, I thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, 5th grade mathematicians.